And the last piece that I'm going to talk about is a work in progress called Speaks Volume. It started as a collaboration with a musician friend of mine, Herman Pearl, in Pittsburgh. The project has taken a couple of different directions, but I'm continuing to work on some of the sound synthesis patches that I originated for the project when we first started working on it. And let me just pull this up. I'll play it for a minute or two, and then I can give you a little bit more.
Salah al-Samarai, W. Daring.
Saeed Abid Tuma. Abdul Rahman Bader. Abdul Rahman Bader.
You can turn the sound up a little bit.
Arfan Ali Rostam.
Najib Kareem Hassan.
Amanda Pinson.
Marcus Futrell.
Hra Hassan Isen.
Mustafa Abed Alamira. Thomas Craig.
Dad
A little bit
Hussein.
about what's happening in this.
Ghani.
The sound files that you're hearing are the names of just a small selection of names of people who have died in the Iraqi War. And they recorded in Herman Pearl's studio among some of his friends in the recording. The piece itself is taking those sound files and processing them through what's called a fast Fourier transformation. So this is but one of the patches of this actual application. This application is called Max MSP. It's a very, very popular application among artists who are working in sound and visual video synthesis and control of external devices. It's been around for actually since the early 90s, this particular application. And for those who aren't programmers in the room, this form of programming is called visual programming language, right? So as opposed to writing syntax, typing out your language, you're basically connecting boxes and pipes. So in essence, what this program is doing is it's reading in the sound file. You can still keep the sound up a little bit so they can hear a little bit of it. Yeah. And it's taking those sound files and processing it, basically dividing it into 3 levels of sine waves based upon the sound that's coming in, a low level, a medium level, and a high level, and I just kept it at those 3 levels. Based upon that, what it does is that it takes those sine waves and it decides whether or not, and those sine waves, it's basically also dividing between pitch, the actual note, and the amplitude volume of the voice that's being spoken, that is pulling out. And it's taking that and then it's assigning it to a synthesized, and this is my PC synthesizer, so the sounds aren't necessarily that rich as if we were connected to a better synthesizer. But it's mapping that pitch and amplitude to notes that map to the actual spoken text. So the clearer the articulation is in the actual sound file, the more you can actually hear that mapping. But then sometimes you hear a lot of noise in there too, which is kind of interesting. You get this other artifacting that's happening. So there are times within this program that it's just playing the sound file. There are times when it's just playing the actual sine wave, kind of like equivalent of the sound. And there's times when it's actually playing then the synthesizer notes. And that comes in and out, is randomized. So that's why sometimes you hear the sound, you actually hear the audio file, and other times you just hear the notes. So with that little explanation of it, maybe we can turn the sound back up again and listen to it.
A. Dirksen.
Akil Abdul Riha.
Takara R. Green.
Svilan Kirov. Javier Chavez Jr.
Hadnam Behibs. Safas Mohammed Jassim.
Each place where you see an X, basically this is the synthesizers sound. So when there's an X, it means that basically that channel is playing.
Nasser Benayan. Preslav Stoyanov.
Camacho Datkievich.
Ahmad Hamid.
Anthony J. McKenzie.
Jonathan Tesser.
Hussein Turki.
Jared Woloweski.
Miguel Carrasquillo.
Okay.
Amy A. Dirksen.
So this piece hasn't really, in this version, it's been shown once. And as a gallery experience, that's why I kept on bringing up the ocean water, because that's basically what you would see. You would not see all the mechanics behind, but being someone who actually enjoys the computational kind of thinking, I think it's interesting to show some of the back end of what's actually making some of these programs work. And I'm sure that there are others in this audience who have probably worked with Max MSP as well. So it's a familiarity, a program of familiarity. Yep. So basically, those are the three projects that I wanted to show. It's really a quick, kind of like a rendezvous through the three there. I was really interested in the talk before me, particularly in terms of the Sui Generis prints, and the history of looking at the modernist kind of view of the body. And you know, I did my work not knowing that history. It was more of an internal self-reflection, but it's kind of interesting. You know, to see what happens when you get access to your own imagery. Yeah, great. All right, thank you.
Pamela.
Yep.